Look, you got the money. I got the box. What else is there to talk about?
I'll give you another 1,000 credits to tell me how you got it.
Another 1,000?
Done. How?
You just walk in like you belong.
Takes more than that, doesn't it?
What? To steal from the Empire? What do you need? A uniform, some dirty hands, an Imperial toolkit? They're so proud of themselves, they don't even care. They're so fat and satisfied, they can't imagine it.
Can't imagine what.
That someone like me would ever get inside their house, walk their floors, spit in their food, take their gear.
The arrogance is remarkable, isn't it? They don't even think about us.
Us? I don't know you.
Fair enough, but I know you. These days will end, Cassian Andor.
Sort of. All right, so I'm gonna start. I'm recording already. It doesn't matter. Okay, so here we go. welcome to episode 34 of the Burning New Walk podcast. I'm your host Justin Granson. With me always is
Chuck. How's it going, everybody?
And it's Dan the Man Levitan.
What is going on, guys? How are you?
I'm good.
I need a haircut. Like
you got a haircut?
Yeah. Look, totally. Like it's coming down below my eye, man. That's how bad I need a haircut. I am looking.
Never do that.
Huh? You couldn't handle it?
Never ever. In high school, I was total like part down the side, bangs in my face. I could whip it around. And
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't stand that shit.
This is like where it gets, and then I go get a cut, and then I wait another 4 months and get another cut.
Yeah, my barber's like, I don't make any money off you. You come in here every 2 months. It's ridiculous.
I'm every 3 weeks, sometimes 4 at most. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm like 3-4 months, easy.
Dude, I love getting my hair cut.
I don't hate it. It's fine. It's better than going to the dentist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yes, I agree.
I hate going to the dentist. Oh, anyway, all right. So, quest lines. What kind of quests you guys been on in the last 2 weeks?
Nothing.
Nothing, huh? Okay, well, we're going to talk about Andor today, but before that, I had some stuff I wanted to talk about. So I did finish Squid Game 2.
Okay.
And first it's 7 episodes for the whole season. Kind of a weird number, and it ends on a cliffhanger. I'm going to spoil that part of it. But the first 6 episodes, I freaking love. Actually, I would say like episodes like 3, 4, 5, and 6. Like when they get into the games again. It's so good. Absolutely fantastic. Just because if you watch that show, it's so ham-handed. And you guys both watched season 1?
Yeah,
I never watched it.
You never watched it? You watched it, Dan, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so a lot of that first season, it's very it's very heavy-handed. There's no it is like very classist. It is very, but if you're watching it as an allegory, it's pretty good, and you can get rid of some of the hamminess inside of it. And I thought it was pretty good. So I highly recommend it. It's only 7 episodes, so it's a pretty quick watch. And then the next season will be the end of it. They're going to finish it off.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good. To get me to walk, this is the quest I was talking about. So I started one of those.
Yeah, that's right.
I started one of those Conqueror's quests. Yeah, like where they send you a medal after you walk a certain amount and everything and do all that, just to get me to force me to. I like games. I like Hobbits. I thought, let's just try it. It was like they had a New Year's special still going on. So I went and jumped on that, and it's kind of fun. There's like a little map on my phone showing me how far I've walked, and there's things from the movie that'll pop up, and as you're kind of going through, it starts you off in Bag End, and it's I think there's 5 or 6 or 4, I don't know, different challenges that'll take you all the way to Mordor.
Yeah.
We'll see if I get
awesome.
So I got one of the Lord of the Rings one of the Star Wars one, and then one that just walks me around Tokyo.
Okay.
So it'll take me through maps of Tokyo and things. So
That's
I thought,
cool.
I've been there. I thought that might be kind of cool.
Yeah,
But
totally.
so far, like I'm kind of on pace for my first one right now. I'm a little bit behind. That's because I played disc golf last week, and you know how you
Where did
crashed
you play disc golf?
last Sunday. I went with the family.
Oh,
So
man, warm enough?
A little chilly
it
out
was
there.
the kids bitched and moaned the whole time, but I was fine. My wife was fine. We were fine. And
Okay.
one of the tee boxes had a lot of ice on it, and I went down hard.
Ooh.
Like
Oof.
hard, and so I was feeling pain for a couple days, but I'm back. I'm good. My butt is still sore though.
Dude,
Like
I
a
was
week later,
kidding.
like 5 days later, I'm still sore from one fall. It's so
You remember I
stupid.
was telling you I went with Braden and I
Yeah,
like slipped on the edge of the tee box,
yeah.
and man, I went down so hard, but it was like I had fallen down stairs because I went boom 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 like 10 feet in front of the box.
Oh man.
Yeah, because I had a full head of steam going, which is also part of why I don't take a run and start on my.
So
Yeah, because you Zach step, right?
no, he doesn't even do that now.
I don't do it anymore because I need to relearn it. Like I started out doing it pretty well, but I do so much better without it. Like it's
Really?
not even close.
Yeah, no, I went
Cool,
down hard.
man.
The good news was my throw was like one of the best throws I had. It was on, I don't know, at the like the seventh hole at Lippold, if you can remember which one that one,
Yeah.
where you got to throw it across the path, the walking path, and then there's the
Mhm.
cut of the trees. They have to throw it between the trees, and then it opens up after that. It went
Yeah.
right between the trees, landed right in the center of the fairway. I ended up parring it, but whatever. It was 5 days later, I'm still in pain though. I hate being old. It's the worst. Like I remember falling down a kid, but whatever. You know,
Yeah.
whatever. No, it sucks.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's also man, I started a lot. So I finished Silo. Silo, I completed that quest.
All right, so first and second season, right?
First and second season. Yeah, I watched first season when it came out.
Right.
So I just finished second season now.
I just the other day I was on YouTube and I saw like an entire description of like the books, like a whole like it told the whole story of the books and everything.
Well, that would ruin a lot of the fun of the show.
Well,
It's a mystery box show.
I haven't watched the show. I was just like, oh, I just want to know what's going on. So I just watched it. It was fascinating.
It's really, really good. So I highly recommend that. And then I went and did a thing. I got Final Fantasy Rebirth, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which
Is that a remake?
it's the sequel to remake. So there's so the original Final Fantasy VII came out in like 1997, and blah blah blah, one of the most revolutionary RPGs of all time. Blah 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 blah.
Yes, no,
You remember us playing that in college, Chuck? I mean,
absolutely. I sat and watched a lot of lot of that.
Yeah, and so it's always been one of my favorite games. So a few years ago, I had like a couple COVID games that like I played some really really long ass games during COVID. One of which was Final Fantasy Remake, but Final Fantasy Remake only tells like the first maybe third at most 25% of the story, and then it ends.
Oh.
But it's completely like redone. Like every little bit is fleshed out. The whole game it's fantastic. If you like Final Fantasy VII, of course, which I don't think you've ever played.
I never have. I think I played the first couple of Final Fantasies back in the day, way back in the day, and then I never really continued with it again. Probably because I got into playing, MMOs back in the day, EverQuest.
That would have been.
That's later.
Yeah, you were like more of like a PC guy in the late 90s, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be why. I mean, this is a PlayStation game.
Yeah, EverQuest was late 90s.
Was it? Was it EverQuest started? Yeah. Okay.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had the first game comes out, and it very touches just the beginning chapters of the original game. So now, I think this is going to be the middle. I think there's going to be 3, maybe 4 of these remake games.
Like
but
4 games.
So like the original game when it came out was like it took like over 40 hours to beat. You know, if you did everything, it could take like 100 hours. Well, each one of these games is like 40, 50 hours and takes like 100, 150 hours to get everything in them. The detail and the insanity of like that world, like the remixing of the music and everything, though, it's got me hooked. So I finished the remake during COVID, and then now this one just released on PC. And man, I am just like all in, like I haven't been in a game in a while. So it feels good to be like a single player game, to be that. Like I started, I end up starting all these games. Go, yeah, that's pretty cool, but I never get, like I didn't finish Indiana Jones. I want to go back and play Indiana Jones, and I will, but hopefully. But like this, like no, I'm gonna play this until I'm done, and I'm doing everything in it, So,
you're raising chocobos?
I've caught 2 of them. Caught 2 of them. Well, because like in this, like each chocobo, like in each region's got a different function. So like one of them gets you through a swamp. The second one, like climbs walls, so you can get to like higher areas and mountains and everything. And it's all open world. So the first one was more on rails. This one's open world. So
I mean, I just never got into JRPGs. They just bug me. Okay, I'm gonna go across the world and check out. Oh shit! Now I'm gonna fight a guy. It's like I don't know. I never got into it.
Oh, you're talking like the random fights and everything.
Yeah,
like I have a hard time playing the random fight games myself. Like back in the day, it was okay, but this isn't like that. It's not like random fights. Like you see the enemy, you can just avoid them if you want, or you can just go take them out. Or there's like rewards for like assessing, finding their weaknesses, and it goes into a database and it gives you like like every little thing. There's a card game in there that's like deeper than like most card games that you could like buy, and so it's got that, and then there's like a chess game in there that's like I don't know. It's rich with a lot of stuff, and it'll keep me busy.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
In the 90s, I was playing Sega Genesis. I think I played Phantasy Star 1 and 2, and that was probably the extent of my JRPGs, and other than maybe the first Final Fantasy.
Well, Phantasy Star, those are some classics.
I had a PlayStation 1, but other than that, I was playing Madden, NHL, RBI baseball, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
or like Ken Griffey baseball or something like that.
Yeah, like I think like other than for the most part, like that generation to me is like the N64 and PlayStation era. To me, was always like you got the Mario Kart and Zelda stuff, and then the sports stuff. Like the baseball games on N64 were great, and then like in the stuff
you also had though Metal Gear.
Metal Gear, yeah.
Metal Gear Solid.
Never liked it.
I love Metal Gear.
And
it's class to watch him play.
In 1995, I was I was building PCs for a living, so I was like full on in PCs, and playing Doom and Quake and Unreal, and all the RPGs that came along with PC gaming, and Heroes of Might and Magic and all that kind of stuff. So I dove into that and never looked back. And then found as soon as when I found AOL's game section and found like I don't know if you guys ever knew this or saw this, but AOL had one of the first MMOs. They had Neverwinter Nights on there, and it was.
I remember that.
It was.
I didn't play it, but I remember it.
They took the old SSA, Strategic Simulations Inc. Gold Box Dungeons and Dragons, and somebody turned it into an MMO on AOL. And there were 256 people allowed in the game at a time. You couldn't because all those games were like square based, you like moved square by square your party through, you couldn't occupy the same square as somebody else. So and if you wanted to fight a battle, you had to wait for somebody to finish it before you can move in and do it. But yeah, that was my first foray before EverQuest came out. And then when EverQuest came out, man, EverQuest I played nonstop while I was working. And I would work all day, then come home, play EverQuest, and then Counter-Strike. And I think I sold my EverQuest account for like almost $4,000 or something like that when I was doing it.
EverQuest's still going on, right?
Yeah.
That's still going.
EverQuest is still there.
Yeah.
And it's free to play, which I would never ever play. I played in it and I had nightmares because it was so that was like way hardcore.
The graphics are rough, right?
They are. Even EverQuest 2 is still out there and free to play, and that's pretty rough. But EverQuest 1 was like hardcore. If you died, all of your stuff stayed on your body. So if you didn't go get it, you lost everything.
Yep.
So like somebody would die, and you would, the end game for that back then, it was like you invaded the plains of the gods. And the very first monsters you fight in there would kill a whole 40-person raid. That like if you didn't do it right. So like you would literally everybody and it was really weird. So you would have to have this character class called the monk, because the monk could sneak. He could go stealth past everybody. Everybody else would zone into the plane of fear or whatever it was, and die on purpose. And then the monk would get everyone in, and then you could allow them to drag your body, and he would drag everybody to the corner of the zone. And then you would zone back in and run real fast and die again on top of your body. And then the whole time, like one person would bring everybody away, and then a priest would resurrect everybody. And then in the corner, you could one by one kill all the mobs.
Oh my God.
That's like a raid was 40 plus people and would take 3 days. It was like insane. Yeah. Yeah.
But the memories, though.
It was also probably why I gained about 60 pounds in the late 90s, too.
Yeah, dude. Wow. Yeah, I never played an MMO. Like, never. Yeah. I should say I played a little World of Warcraft, but it was like never like past like level 20. Like never. Everybody's like, "Oh, you didn't even get to the good stuff," and I know. I don't care.
Yeah. No, we knew. Yeah. We knew better.
I knew. Like, I wasn't gonna get into it. Yeah.
I have a girlfriend. I can't get into that.
Yeah. It was more of like I want to understand it and kind of get a feel for it and know what people are talking about. Because I'm very fascinated with that kind of stuff, especially like, with the blood disease that happened in World of Warcraft that was like, spreading out and like, it became a glitch. I mean, things like that were just so fascinating to me. The Leroy Jenkins meme, things like that, So I wanted to know the zeitgeist.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's totally a different game, though. It's really interesting to me that World of Warcraft Classic has come back and is such a big thing. It was so hard, which ruined the fun of the game in many ways. Like the current gen of World of Warcraft, it's a ton of fun. You can play the whole damn thing basically by yourself.
Yeah.
And you just have the interactions when you want, and then you can play at your own pace. But if you have to do the raiding with 20 people. Dude, it's a slog, and that's what eventually killed it for me, because I wanted to have a life outside of playing that damn game. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, I kind of miss some of the fun from it, but at the same time, I don't miss the time investment,
Yeah. I mean,
that's the killer. Yeah.
But I think that's like 99% of like why I have a hard time getting into any game right now. It's really got to grab me. So, like I said, this one did, and not going to play any MMOs anytime soon. I jumped on the Star Wars one, the Old Republic.
Yeah,
A few months ago, I installed that, and I just messed around with it.
It's essentially a World of Warcraft clone.
Yeah, very much. It felt that way, and it was like it felt like that with the Knights of the Old Republic look and aesthetics.
Yeah, I would say the MMO that's the most kind of like fun right now. Like if you want to jump in and like get lost in the experience of the story being told, the Lords of the Ring Online. The graphics are a little rough and everything, but man, it captures Tolkien so well. The music, the characters are all there. The way it guides you through all the stories. That one's kind of cool. I liked that one a lot. That one was fun. But what about Diablo? Have you checked out the new season of Diablo?
Nope.
I created a character. I created a barbarian, and then it crashed on me, and then I didn't turn it back on.
Okay.
So I didn't really play it much, you know.
Well, so my kids went back to college, and so their Minecraft server that they set up. I've been playing on that for a bit. I've been working on like building a village from scratch and stuff. It's like Legos. It's like, you can build anything you want and do anything you want. You make up your own story, and it's just cool. Like you can like change like the landscape and plant the trees. It's I've been doing a lot of that stuff. It's just a great way to like shut your brain off, and I don't know. I've been trying to get my buddy. My buddy's been struggling. He was on these drugs for epilepsy, and they took him off the drugs, and then he started having anxiety because apparently the drugs were like a mood stabilizer, and suddenly he didn't have that anymore, and so he was struggling with some anxiety. And I told him like, dude, you should just get Steam, just download Steam and just play a couple games. Like, there's nothing wrong with just playing a couple games, get your mind off things, And he's like, no, I'll get addicted. And I'm like, no, well, maybe, but like, is that so bad? I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's funny. And it's true, but also like the kind of cool thing about Steam, like for when I watch my kids go through it and stuff, is the weird ass shit they find and want to play. Like Storage Hunter Simulator and stuff, stupid thing like that,
So yeah, they'll download. I think it's mostly because they're broke. They don't have the money, so they download these free games that are like that somebody developed 10 years ago, probably as a college project, got it on Steam somehow, and it's like a dodgeball game that they play. They literally had a 16-person tournament that they played because it had, and like both my kids were in it, and the physics are all broken in it, so they love playing broken games. And I think I've talked about this before on here, but it makes me nuts because it's like, man, like we struggled like our whole lives with broken physics and broken games to get like the awesome stuff that you guys have now, and then you're going and playing all the broken ass crap and laughing your heads off about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Every time you see like an Unreal, like they show you like the latest Unreal, you're like, oh my god. And they're like playing broken Atari games. Like,
it's just like unbelievable. And it's just like, come on, man. Why are you guys playing this broken crap? They're like, it's hysterical. I'm like, it's not.
Well, isn't that kind of how what was it, Goat Simulator or whatever the hell?
It's that kind of stuff. Yeah.
My daughter, when she was here, before she went back to college, she was playing a ton of Slither.io. Do you know what Slither.io is? It's where you play this little worm and you try to like go around other worms and trap them. Yep. She'd sit there for like half an hour every now and then and be like, oh, I was like number one in the room. It's so hilarious to me. I've watched videos though. That's the crazy thing. I've literally watched Slither.io videos on YouTube because I'm like, how do they get the worm so long? That's insane.
Wow.
So stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, sheesh. So anyway, before we start, speaking of games, okay, this week, which I typically don't do, but I kind of looked at some of the spoilers for the upcoming Fallout season. They're already filming, and they're filming like locations that are in New Vegas, like in the game New Vegas, like actual places in the game. And I'm like, oh, it's so cool. So I'm like super jazzed. And I was just at dinner with my folks, and I was like, have you guys watched Fallout? And they're like, no, we haven't watched it. And I'm like, I really want you to, but at the same time, I know my dad doesn't do well with blood guts. I'm like,
I don't know.
Can't watch that one, but
I don't know if he should watch that. Yeah, my parents both liked it.
Much.
My parents both liked it a lot.
Chuck, we don't even know what it's about. Like, it doesn't matter. You don't have to. It's just awesome.
I need somebody to tell me the entire story, and then I'll watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. It's just so good.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to talk Andor?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
what? What's
I
that,
said,
Dan?
I guess.
All right, so here we are. We're at our
Here we
Andor
go.
Season 1 recap. Today we said we'd talk about the first 2 episodes, but we're going to do the first 3 because the first 3 kind of go together, and when the show was first dropped, the first 3 episodes were released together. So it kind of gave like a cohesive beginning and end. And where do you guys want to start with this? I mean, I can kind of kick it off by saying, I mean, if anybody that doesn't know, we're going to be very spoiler filled, but we might also throw some stuff out there if you've seen it. Maybe you didn't catch before, or just kind of get you to want to rewatch it with us, and or watch it for the first time. Yeah. So if you haven't watched it, go ahead, stop it right here, go watch the first 3 episodes, and then come back.
We'll wait.
Yeah, we're gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for 3 hours right now. So that's the amazing thing. I don't know. It's like 45 minute
second episode seemed to go by so fast. Like,
yeah, maybe it was like a half hour. There, some more shorter.
But then like the 4th episode's like a movie. It's like
it's really
long. On and on and on.
Yeah. So we're not gonna get into the 4th one though. We're gonna wait.
No, I know.
We're stopping at 3. So it set us off. I mean, it's 5 years before the events of Rogue One. And it's basically like Prime Empire time. This is before the whole rebellion thing kicks off. We start off in Morlana 1, and there's a character named Cassian Andor looking for his Canary sister. So, I forgot like how that part played out from the last time I watched it. And I watched every episode twice the first time through. Like I'd watch it and then watch it again. So this is like me now. I'm rewatching it for probably my 3rd time. But it was so long ago. I mean, when did Andor come out, man? It was like
2022.
3 years ago
really?
now. Yeah.
Wow. It feels like it was just out.
Nope. No, it's been a minute. And so yeah. One of the things that like stands out to me most about this, and I kind of want to talk about the music, just like to start it off. Like I know it's maybe a strange place to start, but
no way.
The music in this show is just kind of blows my mind for Star Wars. It really like opens up so much. For instance, when we get the introduction of B2 Emo, it's got that techno-y jazzy beat going on with this junky robot kind of like cranking down and like an electronica sound that we haven't heard in Star Wars music before. The end of season 2 or episode 2, when he's doing that walk towards the second and you get the drums kick in, and it just like they just do some amazing beats with it. And I want to find it. I'm gonna look up the composer's name because he's also done some like other like really good stuff. I think he's the same guy who did the score for the HBO show.
Breitel.
What's that?
Nicholas Breitel.
Nicholas Breitel.
He did Obi-Wan.
Yes.
He did Tales of the Jedi.
But he's done some other stuff outside of Star Wars.
Succession.
Which that soundtrack is absolutely bonkers good. Did
you
ever watch that show?
3.
You only did season 3 of Succession?
Yeah.
That soundtrack's also it's phenomenal throughout the whole series.
Yeah.
But it was just like one of the things that really stands out for me in this entire show has always been that music. And seeing these episodes again, just even watching these first few, it's just like, man, it's a good fit. And I just wanted to bring that up real quick. I don't know if you guys had anything else to say about it, but
no. Actually, I was wrong on some of he's got a ton of other stuff. He also produced the music for Whiplash.
Yeah, which have you guys seen Whiplash?
Yes. Which is crazy good and crazy hard to watch.
Yeah, it is a tough watch. It's a tough watch. I asked my son, who's a music composition. I'm like, do they do that with the jazz musicians? They really do that? Are they really that hard on them? And because he's got friends who are in, and he's like, no.
Yeah, right.
No, but there's elements of it that are true, and there are people. I mean, I don't really want to get into Whiplash, but yeah, good movie. Go see it.
I would I was thinking more about like the visuals on this. Like they do a really good job of like filling this, like you feel like the world is really well built.
Oh yeah,
like there's so much going on in the background. The sets, just the set they were in for that conversation that we did at the beginning of the show. That brick building with all the chains and shit, like that was like an old, worn down factory or something that was like no longer in use, and it was such a cool.
Oh yeah, I've got like my own headcanon of like why those engines were up in the rafters.
Yeah, right.
It's like they kept them up there because of raiders or anything would come in, and then they shut it down, and nobody ever went back to this building. And
the building's still in use, man. They're stripping ships and scrapping everything.
Well, outside they were, but not that building. I feel like that was an abandoned building.
I think it was a scrap building to lift things out of ships as they're scrapping them, and then it probably not in use at the moment. But yeah, no, I mean I think it's very well. It flows really well, right? And they did. I think what separates it from like Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett and some of the other shows is it really focused on story and less on gimmick, in everything else just, and that's why Fallout like works so well, right? Is because it's when there is fan service, it's usually not front and center. There is some definite front and center fan service in the series, but at least through the first few episodes, it's very much centered on Cassian and his story. And oh shoot, what's the dude?
Luthen Rawl.
Yeah, Luthen Rawl. Yeah,
played by Stellan Skarsgård.
Characters, right?
Yeah.
And it's building them up and doing character development for both of them and building all the little pieces in between.
Yeah, but not only that, they set this tension like right away, like immediately. They set this tension, and then you're in tension the whole, like at least those first 3 episodes, because it's like they're coming. He did this thing that was accidental, and then not because he kind of finished it off. But when he shot that guy, and then he was like, now he's on the run.
That's the part I forgot.
Now he's on the run.
That he killed that guy.
And he's got to I got to sell this thing. I got to get money, and I got to get out of here because they're coming to find me. And
which they almost wouldn't have. They typically they wouldn't have, but if it wasn't for Cyril, who might be the single most pathetic human in all of the Star Wars universe. Just the pettiest, most insecure, just gutless coward of a human being. Like every time he's in the scene, he's just more and more pathetic to me. Like I hate everything about him. To his credit,
we're talking about the guy that was the guy that pushed to go find him, to go find Cassian.
Yes, with the mother that just totally babies him and still just everything about him.
She also abuses him.
Oh yeah, right? Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, it is a Pink Floyd mother scenario all over. Wait, you've seen? She's in the first. Oh, is she? Wait, did I jump ahead to episode 4?
No. It's episode 2 or 3 when he goes home.
Yeah.
He goes home and she slaps him, and that's about all you see.
Yeah, that's where it starts. I mean, that's abuse. That's what we're talking about.
My mom hits me. 50 years old.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like I can't remember specifics of other shows and movies and stuff, but I think his character's kind of, it seems to me like to be a kind of a common trope within movies, and it's one of those ones that I hate the most because he's self-righteous because he's trying to prove himself, but he at the same time he's an idiot and he's so blinded by his ambition that it completely corrupts him in every other way.
No, I mean, this to me, this is you say you don't like this. This is Fargo. I mean, this is a Fargo character. This is a character that's so far.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, this is a character that is totally his hubris and his insecurities collide so hard that everything falls apart around him.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like you could almost blame this guy once the entire series is done for like the reason the rebels came back and won.
Yeah.
Because without them doing all this stuff, Cassian Andor doesn't join the rebellion, doesn't get the Death Star plans. Luke never blows it up.
Yeah.
So
without skipping ahead too much, right? When I sat down to rewatch it, I'm going like, man, is this the one where they all go to prison and have to break out, or is that Mandalorian?
You were skipping way ahead, my friend.
And I'm looking through like the episode list, and you see the one like thumbnail of them in their prison jumpsuits. I'm like, oh yeah, and I can't remember if I liked those episodes.
They're my favorite episodes. So when we get to those, we'll have
these three.
Yeah, let's not jump ahead, man. Okay, let's talk about some of the characters though. Can we just go through characters since we started with Cyril?
Sure. Let's start with Cyril.
We started with Cyril. I mean, we kind of talked to him. We're going to talk about Cassian at the end. He's the biggest.
All right,
so just from the first 3 episodes. So we had Cyril. That's our. He gets also another scene which continues my favorite trope that Disney has carried on with all the Star Wars things, and that is every single type of food in Star Wars is disgusting looking. Because he walks by the guy with a bucket of blue noodles.
Yeah, it's gross.
Everything in Star Wars is gross food. Yeah, so I'm glad they kept that going on. We could talk about Bix. Shall we talk about Bix?
Sure.
Which one's Bix?
Bix Kayleen is the girl that has had a past with Cassian, who is dating the Weasel guy, the guy that ends up turning Cassian in. So Bix to me is like one of those characters where these first 3 episodes, she is so competent and she's so sure of herself. Where it goes is going to change a lot and everything. I don't want to get into that part of it now, especially for people like Chuck who haven't watched the show yet. But it's like I love this whole underground of characters that have like developed, that live on their own, that survive. So you've got Bix's character, and then also Brasso, who's the big dude. Who's Cassian's friend. He's the one that ties up hooks the one transport to the ship that gets knocked off. Yeah, that guy, he has a huge part later on too. But
can we talk about those two like the boyfriend and him? They are like, because of the costumes, they are 2 of the very confusing characters to me in the first couple of episodes, because I kept mixing them up because their faces and their stubble are very, very similar. And I kept mixing up who the frick was who because their faces are so similar and the costuming is a little ambiguous. So that's probably, if I'm nitpicking, that's one of the things that did confuse me in the first couple of episodes. I'm like, wait a minute, he was just talking to that guy. Now he's over here talking to that guy again.
So what you're talking about, that's Tim Carlo, the boyfriend. The boyfriend of Bix is Tim Carlo. He's probably the better looking of the 2. He's not as like bulky and brutish as Brasso is. So if you're going to compare, but the good news is he gets killed off. So
wow, way to jump ahead.
Well, no, it's like I'm talking about the first 3 episodes. We're talking about this character's arc. He's the one who gives up Andor and pays for it in the worst way possible.
Yeah, but I don't think he was supposed to get shot. I think the trooper was so freaked out, or the soldier guy, whatever, that he fired. Because he got yelled at immediately.
Yeah,
give me the weapon and go get the ship.
Yeah.
He overreacted.
And in a way, he's the impetus for the rebellion on the planet, right? And that's kind of, how they rally the town together later on down the
even before that, like what I was kind of building to with like this like group of characters there is like when things start getting real and they're standing outside and banging on stuff all in unison just to unnerve.
Yep.
So good. It's so good.
Really good.
It just like kind of fires you up, and it just like, because other than that, you also got the guy up on top in the tower banging on the, he's got his like little, clock tower thing, the hammers, which adds to it also. But it's just like, oh man, I love the banging on, making noise, banging on the pots and the pans, and just doing that incessant sound.
Yeah, it's very similar to Black Hawk Down when helicopters are coming in, they're communicating, throughout the town in Mogadishu, right? Very reminiscent of that, and I think people kind of understand, hey, this is our light one lantern if by land and two if by water, or mix those up,
by
right?
land, two by sea.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. What I really love about that whole planet, those guys are just, all they do is recycle old ships. I've always, like, for whatever reason, since I was a little kid, that was like, I would just dump all my Legos out, like, into a big pile, and I would build ships, and then I would, like, recycle them. Because you're always building new stuff. And I would, like trash planets, there's always, like, a trash planet where they, dump people and make weird shit.
Did you see Alien Romulus?
Not yet.
I've seen Romulus.
It's basically the same thing, right? It's they're stuck on this world. They can't get off of it. There's a corporation, and they're just sitting there, pulling trash out, going in the mine, and then pulling trash out of wrecks as they come down on the planet. Yeah.
So, Chuck, if ever there was a character in Star Wars, that would be like, yep, there's Chuck. It's Brasso, just so you know.
Totally. Yeah, totally. I feel that.
Like, you are the guy who's just going to be, like, pulling stuff out, doing your thing. You know everything about it. Yeah, that's the T-22, and it's got the flammer jammer, and, we're going to get the little spanner for it. We got it. That's, like, you work in that field right there. You're in that group.
He seems like... Okay, so I know we haven't got to Cassian yet, but Cassian is, like, kind of, like... I don't know. He's not a great dude. He just kind of sucks.
No, he kind of sucks.
Because Brasso, what's his name? Brasso?
Brasso. Brasso. Brasso.
Okay.
Or go Brasso if you want.
Or Brazo.
Brasso.
Only murders in the building.
Yeah.
But anyway, he seems like he's like just doing his thing. He's going to gotta get my gloves, gotta go to work or whatever, gotta hang my whatever, And then here comes Cass, and he's like, dude, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing some stuff. And he's like, okay, all right. Are you gonna be all right? Like, just seems like he's just keeping his head down, doing his shit. He's
right,
not like.
Let's talk about Cassian, because we could do that, and we can kind of talk about Marva. Andor, who becomes his quote-unquote mother. We talk about those kind of the same. Like, okay, so Cassian is kind of a troublemaker. He's like, he's not, not even a scoundrel, He's just kind of like a black sheep of anybody's family. He's the guy who always gets himself into trouble, but he's also a kid that came from a planet where, I think that was in my son said it was separatist that was mining that planet, and there was an accident there, but I think it was Imperial, but I'm not 100% sure, and that's one of the things I was going to go back and check. So I'm going to check that for next week.
In the show, they say it was an Imperial mining.
Was it Imperial? Okay. Yeah, see, he's wrong on something. Good. I can get him for that.
Well, maybe not. Listening. Like, maybe there's an extended story on that. You never know. But yeah, what kills just the parents? What kind of mining accident? Is it like everybody's killed and then there's this one, like, daycare that didn't get wiped out or something? It's the weirdest thing. Yeah. It's like Lord of the Flies planet.
Yeah, so, he's Lord of the Flies planet. So all he knows is, like, how to scrap for survival. Sure. My favorite thing about Diego Luna in this part is when he went in to do Rogue One, he was asked to do Rogue One, he got so into it that he wrote an entire backstory for his character.
That's amazing.
And most of this backstory is what you see in Andor.
Really?
So he is like very invested in like the character and like where it goes. He worked with like Gilroy and getting it all done, and
Well,
I
shit,
don't.
it's a good story.
Yeah,
It's
and
a
so
really
he
good
like built
story.
it all up. In fact, if you want to talk about fan service, when they came out with the original like Rogue One, like guidebook and all the information, there's a part where it says Cassian Andor and like what planet it's from. It doesn't say Canary. It says like Fasta or something like that in like the in
The
those
one he tells everybody
in
that he's
like the
from.
in the guidebook. But yeah, and so that's like they mention, oh, but everything that you say says you're from this. So it's just like to fit into that, they even went and made that that little bit of canon, which I thought was pretty cool. He's that invested in the character, and this stuff has been written for a while. Um, and if you ever see some of his interviews talking about it, he also talks about how the one thing he wants to do more than anything is to touch Jabba. And the way he says he wants to touch Jabba, it doesn't in his accent, and it's just so makes me smile, and he's like so like.
Well,
it's very cute. So check that out.
I guess he could touch Jabba, I suppose.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, he's kind of a scumbag.
He's terrible. He's not a person.
He's terrible because he's got a good heart, but he's a troublemaker. He gets himself into trouble. But I mean, his intentions of being on that planet are good. He's on that planet to look for his sister.
Yeah,
right?
no, I get that, yeah.
So he's there to find somebody who I'm guessing the sister we're never going to see. I'm guessing she's gone, dead, whatever. Like I don't think anything ever comes up.
Why wouldn't she still just be on Canary?
Because she died, or she's not in part of anything. It was a dead lead. I don't think he ever finds her. So actually, I hope he doesn't. Like, I hope that's not like something, unless they do it really good. But I think it's just better left as that's what got him there. Because he kind of had to kill those Imperials also. Because they were just going to shake him down. It was going to be even worse for him. It was going to be bad news. Yeah,
they were going to kill him for his money.
Yeah, they were going to take whatever from him, beat his ass down, whatever, or imprison him and torture him. Throw him in. So he knew that. So he knew he had to kill him. And they had enough information on him that they were going to be able to find him. So yeah, he put himself in a bad situation, but I think he's like the guy that always gets into trouble, the guy that can't keep a relationship, the guy that can't do this, but not a bad person.
I don't know, because people don't really trust him either. Like, because when he's like, he borrowed that ship and he's in there and the guy's like, what are you doing here again? And he's like, oh, I'm just cleaning up or whatever, swapping out like the memory chips or something. And he's like, you shouldn't be here. I let you.
He's covering his tracks because he drew on those two guys.
Yeah.
Without even thinking about it, right? Just shot the second guy, right?
Yeah.
But that guy who let him use the ship was like, "Don't come back here, man. Don't come back here." Like he's like worn out his welcome in places. I don't know. I just kind of feel like he's shady.
Well, yeah, he's a scoundrel, man.
So just 1% really likes him. That's Luthen. So we can talk about Luthen now.
So this dude comes along and he's like, I'm not really interested in the box, the MacGuffin that, you think it's all about. He's like, I'm interested in you, basically. Who is this guy? Clearly he's part of the rebellion. But how does he know about some, lone dude making trouble? Like, how does he even know who Cassian is?
Oh, from what's his from
through Bix. Through Bix.
Okay.
So Bix is kind of like in the know. Yeah, she's in the know. She knows everybody, like super competent, all that, and has that connection with Luthen. So when she does the favor, and my guess is when Luthen gets all the information. He's looking for somebody with particular skills.
Sure.
And he's looking for somebody that can walk right into an Imperial base and, nobody will bat an eye at him. He's looking for that type of character. Somebody who can get in, be a thief, or do whatever. And his story, his character is so good. And it also like we could talk about the casting because like Stellan Skarsgård is just an accomplished actor anyway, and having him, it just like brings a lot of bravado to that character. And you know,
really
and I mean, like, and Diego Luna's great too. I mean, I think all the cast, like, I don't think there's like there's not a bad choice for the cast in all of them, any of them. So it just, like, again, we're talking about S tier Star Wars here, you know. Whether we get more out of Luthen, I mean, we can only go through that third episode, so I'm not going to say much more on it. But his, you know, his presence and his know-how with everything and all that, you know, I don't think they get into the connection with Mon Mothma until episode 4. Am I correct on that?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to stop that. Because we don't get too much Mon Mothma in those beginning episodes. But interesting thing about Genevieve O'Reilly, who plays Mon Mothma, it's the same character that plays Mon Mothma in Rogue One, but then also in she's also like she's I think she was the same one that was cast in episode 3 that they didn't use. So, because they actually filmed the scene with Mon Mothma when they and Padme and all of them together in Bail Organa, where they start the rebellion. It's kind of like the origins of the rebellion, and it got cut. They took that scene out.
I feel like they did a good job in the third in that movie to kind of like hint what was like. Bail Organa was already like, you know.
Yeah, she was credited in episode 3.
Yeah, and so, but they didn't use the scene. I mean, whether or not she's like roaming around in the background somewhere else, I don't know. But yeah, so it's kind of cool that they've been able to keep a lot of these characters and pull them back. You know, so I don't know. I'm hoping for a Bail Organa appearance at some point too. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I think she's in the movie, but I don't think any of her talking scenes are like there. Right?
So she's like in a Senate pod or something.
Yeah.
That bums me out because, to be honest, that I was super jazzed when she walked in, and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!"
Yeah. So you don't remember any of this?
I only watched the first 3. I didn't watch the episodes. So
all right. So now it's gonna really open up because, like, I think the first 3 are the weakest 3. And I really like them. It's a great start.
I think it's kind of like, I don't know what it is about these 3 episodes, but it feels like it's just a slow, like, burn.
It's frustrating.
It is, but it's, I don't know. It's just like quiet. Like the dialogue feels like it's not. It doesn't feel like Lucas dialogue. Clearly, it's very like.
God, I'm glad it's not.
Well, good. I know. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying like it's like, I don't know. It's just more theatrical, I guess. Maybe that's not really the right.
I disagree. I think it's like very. It's less, very episode 4 dialogue.
You think so?
Yeah,
no,
I do.
No way,
I think it absolutely feels like we're going to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters.
No way.
It absolutely feels that way.
To be honest, I thought it felt a lot like Jojo Rabbit. It kind of had that same like
Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, Jojo Rabbit. You ever seen the movie?
I've seen Jojo Rabbit. Yes, I don't.
Well, you know how you're in Nazi Germany, and it's like there's this tension behind it because you know Nazis are good people. They're gonna like hurt everybody that you're like interested in at some point. Yeah, but that's how like this whole the whole first 3 episodes feel that way. Like
I think Justin nailed it. It's very Fargo-esque in terms of like you're just waiting for somebody to finally do something the right way, because everybody just keeps screwing things up, right? Which they use it very successfully. But at some point, you're kind of like, okay, can somebody just please do it the right way one time? You know,
I think that's the point.
Like, well, you've got like 3 or 4 adults in the room in the whole show, and the ones that we've seen so far are Marva, Andor. You know, she knows it, she gets it, she knows what's at stake. You know, Luthen obviously knows a lot more about everything. You know, he's the one that can straighten things out, and then you've got Mon Mothma. I would say on the Imperial side, you've got some of the higher ups in there that understand all the bureaucracy, understand all of the crap, and they're like looking past it and everything, and like looking more at the big picture. So the guy with like he's plays Major Partagaz. He's got the slick back hair and it kind of poofs out in the back. He's like the really smarmy Imperial.
Yeah,
Like he's the one that's just like you could tell like no, that guy's got it together as an Imperial. So it's like I agree, Dan. Like there are like everything else is kind of falling apart and breaking, and you've got characters that kind of keep it together. I mean, later on we're gonna see in the prison you've got Kino, the character played by Andy Serkis. He plays that role also.
Yep.
So this dude's Cassian's mother. Okay, you just mentioned her name. What was
Marva.
it? Marva. Okay.
Not his mom per se.
Well,
adopted mother.
Adopted mother. Yeah.
Yes.
She's a kidnapper, right? Like she's
actually kidnapped.
She's like a pirate or a criminal, right? Like her whole thing was, did she shoot down that ship?
Yeah.
To steal stuff off of it?
Yeah.
I don't think she shot it down. You think she shot it down?
Yeah, I think she shot it down.
They knew exactly what was going to be on there.
Yeah, and they're like, well, the gas should be cleared now, so you can take your mask off. Like, they knew.
Oh, maybe they did. I never thought about it. I just thought they were more like scavengers coming in and getting stuff and like kind of knew the situation. But
okay, cool.
Sure. No, I mean, it's better. I think it's better if she shot it down.
Well, it would explain why Cassian's the way he is then. You know? I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys, when that droid started talking in English, were you like, what the? No beeps or whistles or nothing? It just threw me off for a second. I know that like C-3PO speaks English.
I love it.
Like,
I love it.
I
love that robot.
Droid who has to like hold on a second while I reboot. It was like. Well,
I like in the flashbacks how it's like a much more useful droid. He's much more mobile and he's like more competent. And now he's so broken down, the battery hardly holds a charge, and he can like barely get back and forth. And he's got to sit in a charge dock most of the day. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we know that they're not. Well, no, she should be super technical. Maybe she can't fix it. Maybe she just doesn't have the parts.
Might be.
And I don't know what happens to her, but I feel like bad things are going to happen.
Well, I'm not going to say anything. It could be sunshine and roses, or it could be the worst thing ever. You never know.
I'm like, oh crap! This is Jojo Rabbit's mom. Like that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh geez, because you have to have that. Like you have to paint. You have to show the Empire as evil as they really are. Like I don't think we've, other than like, hey, we blew up a planet full of people. I don't think we've really ever seen how evil the Empire can be. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't think we've seen it.
Well, I mean, the Rogue One stuff's pretty nasty.
Yeah, I know, but like, I still think there could be more.
Well, there's a lot. There's a lot that'll happen in this.
But
yeah, you're gonna get some. Chuck, I'm really looking forward to you like seeing more of this show and kind of like talking about it. So like,
have you not seen the show before?
I only watched the first two or three. I watched the first 3 episodes.
What?
Yeah,
I watched it with my daughter, and then she went back to school, and then we never watched it again.
So it's going to be like, when we start next week, I just want him to talk. I'm just going to like let him. Yeah, I want you to come and bring what you think is going on and how you. Are we going to do 3? Is the heist 3 episodes?
I think it's.
Let's do 3.
Yeah, I think it's 4.
It could be. Well,
4, 5, 6,
I'll tell you what.
7.
Let's watch them, and then when the heist part's over, we'll just figure out how many episodes we'll do next week, so we could talk about the whole next section, because it's broken into 4 sections. Basically.
So without doing any spoilers for season 2, because I haven't done, but I don't want to spoil any of season 1. We know it leads into directly right to the start of Rogue One is what I heard, right?
Yeah.
In the novelization of Rogue One, which I read and was really good, actually, they give a lot more backstory on Jyn Erso and Krennic, right? Orson Krennic, and Grand Moff Tarkin, right? In the book. Do you think we're going to get, a lot, not just Cassian, but also some of the rest of the characters in season 2?
So Krennic is in season 2. That's already been announced.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Krennic comes back.
Good. Okay.
I don't know if they're going to do the Tarkin thing or not. I don't think Jyn Erso will be in there because her story really starts with Rogue One.
Yeah, like, but you get such a small part of it, and then in the book, it's like there's some weird themes.
So what you might get. So from what I understand, this entire series takes place over about a year. Episode or season 1. Season 2 takes place over 4 years. So they're going to break it down into sections, kind of like how season 1 is, where the first 2 or 3 episodes are going to be 1 year, and then or the first 2 years, and then the third year is this, and then the final group of episodes are the 4 years later that lead right into Rogue One. That's how it's going to be broken down. So it's possible because I think you have Saw Gerrera is going to come back. So, I mean, talking characters of Rogue One, Saw Gerrera, that's Forrest Whitaker's character. So I'm pretty sure he'll end up at some point in season 2. Yeah. I know you're going to get K2SO, the droid. He's back he's going to be in season 2. So I know those characters get in there. Jyn, I don't know. I think it's a long shot to have Jyn. But you could have mentions of her. You could have discussions of her. You know, because I know that they pinpoint her as somebody that they want. And Saw is aware of her because obviously he raises her from a certain point.
Because the whole point of Rogue One, right, is the finishing of, like, the Empire is finishing the Death Star, right? Yeah. And getting ready, obviously, to lead up to it being fully operational, blah, 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 blah. And the whole backstory from the beginning of the book on Krennic and Jyn Erso is Krennic and Jyn Erso's parents are friends and colleagues.
Yeah.
And they're all doing research around whatever the Force crystals, whatever they are. I can't remember.
The kyber crystals that go inside of it.
Yeah.
Right? And it's all like a rivalry between Krennic and Tarkin to gather favor with the Emperor at the same time, and that warps his relationship with Jyn Erso's parents and causes him to betray them in their research that they're doing together. And so it's almost like the first half of the whole book is that whole lead up into the start of the movie. It's done really, really well in the book, so I'll probably go back and listen to it.
Yeah, I'll have to check that book out. That's
okay. Awesome. So a lot of that stuff though would already have taken place before Andor.
But keep in mind, right? That's only there for that's like the first 2 minutes, and then they time jump, right?
Yep.
So I would say it's not uncommon in sequels to go back and redo a scene or to fill gaps. And I think you could fill that whole gap, sure. and it would be really interesting to build those characters out. And then I think that would make Rogue One even better.
So will they bring Mads Mikkelsen's character back also, you're asking? So Jin's father. Yeah, about to bring him back too. Yeah, I'd be fine with him. I'm all down for more Mads Mikkelsen. That guy's great too. So yeah.
So, but it's a really interesting story, and I can't wait to see how it all connects, man.
Yeah, no, I'm totally stoked. Just watching these episodes makes me want it even more. I keep having to remind my son when the new season comes out. Like, we're gonna rush through these, and we're gonna have like a few weeks before that season comes out, and I'm gonna be yeah. So I don't know. Do we want to talk about anything more with these first 3 episodes?
I just we discussed a couple weeks ago about like, do you need any shows with Jedi in it, or any do we need to see like Vader or any of the top level, Imperials or any of that stuff? I just love this whole like small, like just in these 3 episodes, you just get this small picture of what life is like under the Empire. Like, I think you could totally expand on that and have stories just of that. Like what were the people living in Coruscant at the time? Well, what was it like? You know?
I think they'll do that stuff. I mean, we just had Skeleton Crew that we talked all about this, a couple weeks ago. I mean, I know that the idea was to do like a Rogue Squadron type of series, and that still might happen. That could still happen. I hope it does, because I'm when it comes to like all like the X-wing pilots, and that's all my favorite stuff. So bring more of that.
That would be cool.
I'm all down with that.
Jeez,
but I mean, that's the thing. I mean, they could do. But my whole point on this whole thing is just like you could do it all. You could have a story that has about like one dude living in a desert, one dude living in the city of Coruscant, one dude living in a planet and their family somewhere else, and then you can have another story about Jedi. You can do it all. It doesn't matter. Just give me good stuff. I just want good stuff.
Yeah, speaking of good stuff and maybe not so good stuff, I mean, did you see the news about ratings for Acolyte?
The highest of all the Star Wars stuff this year.
Highest of all Disney Plus streaming for the year.
So do more. Bring us more of that stuff, please.
No, not any of that stuff. Please.
Yeah, no, don't be dumb. Don't be dumb. There's great stuff in that show. Expound on that. Don't be like, no, throw it all in the garbage. I'm not doing this crap with you guys. Just take the good stuff, do more story with it.
What I'm saying is that what bums me out about that is that I think the Skeleton Crew show was so much better. Like, I love that show.
Mm-hmm.
And it bums me out that didn't get the viewership. It really deserved. Seriously, it was such a good show.
Yep. Yeah. No, but I do agree. I don't think they should junk everything from the Acolyte. I think they need to, maybe not need to, but I think it would be worth going down some more of the Acolyte and seeing what his story really is.
For sure.
But somebody else has got to run it.
Whatever.
Somebody else has got to run the show. That's what
throw somebody out there and do it. I don't care who it is. And I want it good. Of course I want it good. And there's things that can be improved upon, of course. But you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's what I'm saying.
When it's a baby that ugly, I'd throw it.
You're dumbass. Anyway.
You can have a swing and a miss. It happens.
Yeah, you can have a swing and a miss. It doesn't mean you get 3 strikes, buddy. You can still like work on it. If they keep failing, fine. But all right. But that's only like the real, and it's only really 2 episodes out of that entire thing. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, Andor. Do we want to talk about it anymore? Do we have anything else?
I feel like I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good for this week.
Yeah, some stuff's going to happen the next time we talk. I'm excited about a few elements within it to discuss.
I'm excited.
Oh yeah.
I am. I want to go watch it right now. But I'm gonna wait till next week.
I'm going to go watch some more Severance season 1.
I gotta watch that. I totally
we'll have to talk.
Watch that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start. I have not started 2 yet. I'm waiting for a few to. I think I want to watch the last season of season 1, and then go into season 2.
Everybody that I've talked to that's watched it, they're all like, "We got to go back and watch that last episode."
Yeah. Even though I know,
I will probably be able to start it after our cast next week, season 2. I think I'll be done with season 1 by then.
Wow.
Okay.
It's only 9 episodes.
Yeah.
It's not one. So
I got to get on that.
Yeah, but they're slow moving, meaty, very. Yeah. Ride it out, man. It's so good. Each episode builds and it gets better.
Yeah. Finish the first 3.
Okay, you're in a good spot.
Yep. I'm ready to hit it a couple a night. So.
All right.
Just want to quickly ask you guys, and you can cut this part out if we have to, but did you guys hear any of the rumors for the Grogu and Mandalorian movie?
I'm kind of staying away from most of it, but
yeah, I don't usually seek them out.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I was just wondering because I heard some stuff and it was like I just wondered if you guys had heard it.
Yeah, no, I've kind of stayed away from most of it because I don't really. Yeah, when it gets closer, it's still a year out.
Yeah.
So it's like whatever. Like there's.
Plus, the leaks could all be bullshit anyway. So
Yeah, a lot of them are. My favorite is like when you go down through like, man, like Facebook is the worst. But
Facebook sucks.
when you scroll through and they're like, "Oh, just confirmed for the new Marvel movie," and it's just like,
Yeah,
no, that's not even true. Like all these like clickbait, you know,
fake
and some
movies
of them used to be like reputable websites too for news information too, and they're like just so desperate for clicks, and it's just so sad. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, Facebook sucks.
Oh, it's the worst. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's the worst. Anyway. So yeah.
All right.
We'll continue next week to see how you could spend a meaningful $645 million.
There we go.
That's what these 2 seasons of the show cost. It's incredible. I love it.
You could tell.
Anyway.
Yeah. All right.
All right, guys.
Peace. See you guys next time.
Yep. Peace out.